This is my review on Thor Ragnarok for Imax Enhanced, exclusively available Imax Enhanced on Disney Plus at the moment. Only streaming on Disney Plus, the Imax Enhanced version of Thor Ragnarok, which fixes all the problems. The haunting visuals that is Thor Ragnarok released to theaters and home video and streaming services, several of them. Yeah, basically the IMAX Enhanced fixes all the haunting visuals and makes them actually look good, because the color does no longer the color visuals no longer like a crap, the color bomb going in, and the story is just getting gross in. And the reason why the color no longer looks like crap, because someone came up with this good idea to release the version of him where they don't edit out the top and bottom of the screen, as in crop it. That's what cropping means. So I'm just a little worked out because I can't, so this guy Drew, we were having a conversation. He was trying to convince me that cropping doesn't even exist. Basically, there's no such thing as cropping a movie for the top and bottom of the screen, but there is only for doing it but it is like doing, you can only crop the sides of the picture, not the top and bottom. As in, edit it out of the picture. Makes the... So, he was... So you can't edit the top and bottom of the screen, but you can edit only the left and right side of the screen. Because he was trying to convince me that, like, there's no top and bottom of the screen missing. It's just getting stretched out. Like Mr. Fantastic, in other words. Is what he's trying to say. You know what? That's a load of BS. And inaccurate BS. Zack Snyder would definitely disagree with this guy. Because Zack Snyder knows what he's talking about, and so do I with this whole cropping stuff. Cropping, exactly what it means. It means editing out the front, the top, right in front of you. You're editing out the top and bottom of the screen, which can muff up the color. Even Zack Snyder says it. So who am I going to listen to? Zack Snyder, or some person who doesn't know what cropping, or who doesn't understand it? And when he bother Google it, when he's trying to argue it, when he's trying to argue his point home with me. Sure, he'll Google prove that he's right about about the widescreen getting edited into full screen for ones that were shot in widescreen, but he won't Google the ones that were shot in full screen, the ones that get edited into widescreen. See, he's right about one thing, but he's not right about the other one. Because he thinks that you can only edit the picture out for the sides of the screen, but not the top and bottom. Why would that even matter? Why would one be popped up on the other? That makes no sense. I don't get it. That thinking. So yeah, Drew's wrong. I'm right, and so is Zack Snyder, right? So yeah. I feel less worked up now, so now I'm going to talk about the movie. Thor Ragnarok. The IMAX enhanced version is exclusively streaming on Disney Plus at the moment at this time. At this point in time, so, yeah. So, Thor Ragnarok, shows all the shots that were shot in full screen and doesn't edit the shots into widescreen, the ones that were shot into full screen. So, the ones that were edited into widescreen, make it look like widescreen, which cut out the top and bottom of the screen, as in crop the movie. That's what cropping means. So, anyway, yeah, this shows all the haunting visuals and color of the film. Because of the color, it made the visuals haunting for the theatrical release. But because of the IMAX enhanced version fixed that problem, because they decided to reverse having the film cropped, they decided to release this copy of the film on Disney Plus before the crop every aspect ratio to make it look like every aspect should be identical to the widescreen aspect ratio. So, for all the ones that were shot in the full screen, as in all the cool action scenes or the scenes with Hulk in it, were shot in full screen. Then they got converted and changed and edited and cropped into widescreen, and therefore why Hulk looks a lot taller in this cut of the film versus the regular theatrical worldwide cut of the film, compared to the one exclusively on Disney Plus and the IMAX Enhanced. So the film looks now gorgeous and everything. Is alright again. The visuals look good. The color looks grand. The color looks great. It all looks good. The visual aesthetics. The film looks great again for the first time. For me. But it looks great again because people shot it like this. So to make it look like this, so it's nice to see the film, how the makers of the film shot it look like. To see that version of the film, it's nice. So now I'm going to tell the plot. The plot is of the Thor Ragnarok is, well, after Thor returns back to Asgard, he figures out pretty quickly that when he gets basically tip from this guy that he basically rips the crown off, that looks like a big unibrow, but it's actually a crown, and finds out that Odin's not on Asgard, so he figures that's Loki that's been posing as Odin. And so he confronts Loki, gets him basically undo his disguise, and they go to get their father to pick him up, and he left him right where the building's being demolished for a new building. That's where he left the father, Loki did. So he's now in exile. So they get he's get the help from the Sorcerer Supreme. When Loki's after Loki gets abducted basically Sorcerer Supreme in through a portal, and then Thor has a little chat with Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange, and that his father's no longer in exile, so bring him home. So he points them both in the right direction. So they go to get their father. It turns out he's in the middle of passing away and going with his mother's spirit. So it explains shortly before he passes away that Hela, the goddess, that's the firstborn heir to the throne, is coming, and he can't really keep her trapped when he's gone. And he says he basically failed as a parent to both of them, and so he basically he could have done better in some ways. So very briefly says goodbye to his sons. And Thor's pissed at Loki. They confront the Hell God's death for Frozen's hammer, and she holds it and shatters it into pieces. And then they go through the Bifrost, and Hell's getting on them through the Bifrost. Loki gets kicked out of the Bifrost, and Thor gets kicked out of the Bifrost after fighting Hela in the Bifrost, and lands on this strange planet somewhere in the Night Realms. What's in that Night Realms place? So yeah. So, and the planet's called Sakaar. And he gets kidnapped by this, person who's laid to be real Valkyrie, who are sworn to defend the throne by all costs. So she's basically and assume that Loki assumed all the Valkyries were dead. After later on in the film, they both find out that she's a Valkyrie later on in the film when Thor escapes. After Thor escapes, and but hasn't left the planet yet. So before he leaves the planet, and before when he goes just getting ready for battle to win the fight between the champion on Sakaar, the champion of Sakaar, who is later to reveal the Hulk. He's basically grieving over the loss of his hammer, Neilmere, and saying he really wish he could have her back. So losing his hammer was like losing a loved one in a way. So that's this rock creature, Gorson's called, points it out that's kind of that's how he points it out. So that's that's a nice way to put it. So then that's when he finds out that Valkyrie is a Valkyrie, and asks for help. She says no. So and then he gets all electrocuted and basically ready for battle, and Stanley makes a cameo and chops his hair on his head. So he's now doesn't have a full long hair from the comics. He's now has a short hair on his head. So, and then he finds that the champion is Hulk, and he's so happy that's his friend, because he says it's okay. Hey, he's a friend from work. It's okay. He says to the Grandmaster, and he just says to Loki, look who it is. And then tells he just tells Hulk that it's good to see you, Banner, and it's so many things that's happened, I lost my game got destroyed, and so that's pretty fresh. That's happened a few weeks ago, yesterday. So that's pretty fresh. And this is after he finds yeah, so it's just good to see him. He's basically catching up saying Loki's alive. He's like, he tells Loki, look who it is. Yeah, so Hulk just says that he's not Banner, so he attacks Thor and beats the shit out of him, and tries to beat the shit out of him. Thor keeps on dodging his hits, and he tries to talk some sense into Banner, and says, "This is crazy. You're my friend. I don't want to hurt you, Banner." So, while Thor's punching Hulk, he says he'll get him out. He says, and so then Hulk is knocked down and tries to do that little calming technique that Natasha uses on Hulk in Age of Ultron, saying the sun's going down, and apparently I guess that only works on Hulk if that's Natasha. I guess he's just really annoying coming from Thor, so I guess it has to be Natasha that does that, so it doesn't work if it's just anybody, I guess. So Hulk just like assaults Thor like he assaulted Loki in the first Avenger, and this actually. He literally just, like, you know how, like, in the first Avenger movie, if those who saw it, how he just, like, took Loki and swung him over his head in, like, a battering ram, like used his body as a battering ram, but he's, like, swung him around the place on floor next to the other floor, like it was a rag doll, his body, Loki's. He does the same thing with Thor in this, so, because the calming technique doesn't work on Hulk's, because of Thor, I guess, so. And, that's when Thor actually, for a brief moment, basically gets figures for a brief moment, he can unleash his power, so a bunch of lightning that's oozing off of him, and now he has got a fighting chance, so the Grandmaster actually, helps Hulk by actually electrocuting Thor. And this one, Thor looks like he's going to get his squashed by Hulk. Next thing later, he's alive in the same room with Hulk, talking with him and waking up from being unconscious or something. So it's really unclear who won the battle, but Thor is keep on claiming that he won the battle. So when Hulk claims that he won the battle, so very unclear. So and so Hulk and Thor's talking. Turns out Hulk's been a Hulk all the time nowadays, so that's how long he's been Hulk. So Thor just answered that question. He wonders how he ended up here on Sakaar. So Quinjet, so the same Quinjet that he used in Age of Ultron is how he ended up on Sakaar somehow. So he asks what the Quinjet is, and Hulk points out what the Quinjet is. Like, so Thor sees this as an opportunity to get off planet. So he wants Hulk to tag along to save Asgard, and Hulk says no, and. Because Hulk wants to stay on Sakaar, so Thor tries talking to Thor says he needs Hulk. Thor says he needs Hulk help, and he's like because he's the Hulk is so a friend needs to support each other. So that's what these friend things do. He's Hulk. He says Hulk. So yeah, and Hulk says points out like that was Banner's friend, and he says I don't even like Banner. He's all dirty with the science and stuff numbers, and he says he prefers the Hulk more. He prefers the Hulk. Prefers the Hulk. So and he tries to get them with all get an argument basically, and well, Hulk throws was throws on the end that I think it was a table that could have killed him, and Thor says everyone calls him the stupid Avenger, and that Earth really does hate him, and says, and he apologizes for saying that stuff to Hulk, and Hulk fears Thor, he says nobody calls you the stupid Avenger. You just can't throw tables after you could have killed me. So they're cool after apologizing to each other. So Hulk helps getting the remote from Valkyrie so he can actually deactivate the electrical thing that's in his neck that keeps on electrocuting him from escaping, and it works. After he tries to get and fails to get Valkyrie on his team with Hulk, and Valkyrie points out, Valkyrie points out Hulk's not even on Valkyrie points out, it's just him on his own team, because Hulk doesn't want to be on the team either. So, yeah, and then he makes his escape after that, so, and goes to the Quinjet, and Hulk follows him because he wants him to stay, so, and Hulk ends up accidentally destroying the Quinjet. And, then Thor accidentally plays, the clip of last time he saw Natasha Hulk did from Age of Ultron, so ends up playing that clip, so that basically, triggers Hulk and basically starts freaking out. But he's turning back into Banner. So Banner comes back and finds out he's been the Hulk for well over 2 years. He finds out he's been a Hulk for 2 years because Age of Ultron happened over 2 years ago. So. Or we know what each of all does have. Yeah, so he's been Hulk for 2 years because Thor points out all the Ultron events happened over 2 years ago, so he's been Hulk for 2 years straight on stop, so and all of it is starting to come back to him. And he's trying to stay calm, but it's freaking him out how long that he's been the Hulk. So it's all coming back to him at once, so he's kind of freaking out and low on edge. So, and he's not willing to go back into Hulk mode again ever because he's afraid that if he goes back in Hulk again, Banner's not going to come back. So at all. so he doesn't basically gets over it when he sees civilians in trouble, and basically decides to be the hero and to save the civilians of Asgard after Thor, Valkyrie, and Banner team up after kidnapping Loki as a peace offering. Valkyrie does the arrive to Asgard after Loki tries to backstab Thor, just after making peace with Thor in the elevators and had a little chat with him. He didn't backstab Thor, but Thor saw it coming, so he backstabbed Loki and outsmarted Loki. So and put a device on Loki that, well, was basically electrocuting Thor for the film and put it on Loki's back. So the Rise Cash, that's really pretty inventive action chasing in the, well, trying to fly basically party ship that's meant for